And now we're in the Senate chambers, and I'll turn it over to Matt.
Well, thank you for coming with me here to the Senate. I can give you some information about the chamber. We have 38 members, obviously, the Michigan Senate. Each represent districts of about 250,000 people. That varies depending on the population growth in the state. Senators serve 4-year terms. The chambers are restored accurately to look as close as we can to what they looked like originally when the Capitol opened in 1879. You can see the beautiful chandeliers here. These are original. There are 1,760 pieces of crystal and glass on each chandelier. Directly above in the ceiling of the Senate and the House, we have the coats of arms for all the 50 states. Elijah Myers, our architect, designed the building with those coats of arms in both chambers. Unfortunately, years ago, the original panels were thrown out and were replaced with plastic and plywood. So these were commissioned during the restoration to match the original panels.
I was going to explain what was going on behind us here. You probably pick up, detect the voices and the microphones. There's a Student Government Day, Youth and Government Day here in the Senate chambers today. The Senate's not in session today, but they have the Youth and Government. It's a periodic thing they do several times a year, right?
Yeah, they have a middle school program. They do always the Monday before Thanksgiving, and then in the spring they run 2 sessions, and it's sponsored by the YMCA. Okay. And the spring session they bring in about 1,000 students about 700 at a time, and then the middle school program, it's about 600 students.
One of the nice things, I don't know if you're aware of it, but one of the nice things that every year after they leave, many times they'll write a little note and they leave it in our desk.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
very
and,
nice.
So they'll usually leave their name and where they're from, and that they sat in our desk.
Oh,
and,
that's great.
And it's a nice little thing because I usually will write a little thank you or a little note back.
Oh, very nice.
That I'm glad they're taking an interest in government, and so it's a nice little thing. You get to know who the children were that were here.
Sure, it's a good program. I have no doubt that some of these students that participate here will run for the actual legislature, years from now. So I'll probably be working for them. As a part of the restoration, consoles were acquired that sat beside the senator's desks, and in the console we were able to conceal some of the more modern equipment, like the telephone that you use, the laptop computer. In fact, the Michigan Senate, we believe, was the first elected body in the nation to be fully computerized. They computerized the chamber shortly after the restoration.
I know I went to Boston, and it was, everything is by paper still there, and there's virtually no electronics in their entire state capitol in either chambers.
Oh, sure. And we feel too it's about access to, and that the citizens of the state can pull up much of the same information that you can, on your computer, and stay in touch with with the issues that you folks are voting on. Now, beside the computer, there's also a strip of buttons, and that was added as a part of the restoration, an electronic voting system. So as the senators vote, red for no and green for yes, their names light up electronically on the far wall. And that's so people up here in the galleries can also keep track of how their elected officials are voting on some of the issues that they're working on. A big part of the restoration here, though, and one of the biggest challenges, is taking a historic building but also incorporating these very modern features into it, like electronic voting and telephones and computers and printers and faxes, and trying to blend it in with the building, and in some cases even trying to conceal it so it doesn't take away and detract, from the restoration.
I understand a lot of state capitals have become more museums, and this is actually a working capitol. And
we refer to it as that, as a working museum, and we're really proud of the fact that we were able to keep the building open during the entire restoration. We conducted tours throughout the project, and it's important to us that people know that this is their building and that they feel welcome to be here.
And I understand the area we're standing in now is, just so folks back home understand, that this is the area that is called the gallery, and visitors, it's the visitors gallery primarily, and it's open anytime the legislature's in session.
Anytime, whether you're here at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, the building is always accessible and always open.
Right. Yeah. it's really, I think, a testimony to our form of democracy, that we can always see what's going on and how people are voting and how we're behaving.
Yeah, I agree with you. A number of years ago, I had the opportunity of giving a tour to some folks from another country, and was mentioning how the gallery is always open to the public, and people are welcomed and encouraged, in fact, to come watch session. And they were astounded by that. They really found that remarkable, that our building is as accessible as it is.
Yeah. Now we're going to continue our tour, and we'll move on to our next location.